What is up, guys? Pine Belt Beer Reviews back here again with you today for another one, and this one that I have here today is one that I thought that I reviewed on this channel, but I went back and checked, and apparently I have not. And that is the Milwaukee-based Pabst Blue Ribbon Beer. I've had this one plenty of times before. In fact, it used to be sort of my go-to kind of everyday kind of beer whenever I just wanted to pick up some beer. I just go to the store. I really liked this one for quite a while in my early 20s. I kind of switched over to Yingling after I guess I sort of got tired of this. I sort of burnt myself out on it, I guess. But I ended up kind of switching over to Yingling for quite a while. As far as the other sort of, macro lager, mass-produced beers go, Coors Banquet was another one. Coors Light. I was kind of on a Coors kick for a little while, but yeah, it's been a good number of years since I've had a Pabst Blue Ribbon beer. It's kind of a beer that's really seen a bit of a resurgence, especially with my generation. I know that it was really a kind of staple beer. It was pretty much everyone's granddad's beer for a while. I think in the 90s it sort of really dropped out of popularity. The 80s, I think it really started seeing a decline. I think early 80s it started seeing it went from like third top beer in the top three beers in the in at least in the United States to like top five, and then it kind of continued to decline from there. I believe that was sort of after Pabst left Milwaukee, like the Pabst family left the Milwaukee, and I believe that Coors, I want to say, or Miller Coors bought out Pabst at one point. And correct me if I'm wrong, I could be completely wrong on this. The last I've heard about this beer was that some Russian-based company bought. Maybe it was a Russian-based company bought Miller Coors, and then Pabst still happens to fall. I can't quite remember that entirely, but it was something to do with that. Anyway, it's 4.8% ABV, so it's kind of on the lighter side of beers. Not necessarily a light beer, quite a light beer, but it's lower ABV, so you can definitely have a couple of these, no problem. And still make it home from the bar or whatever. Though most people aren't going to bars now anyway because of everything going on. So you can still have enough and get all your housework done and everything, and do that just fine. I got it today because I wanted to go out and stock up on beer and not have to go back out for a while. I didn't want to keep going back to the store every weekend or whatever, so I wanted to go ahead and I was trying to get a case of beer. The only case of beer that they had at the store that I went to was Pabst, so I went ahead and picked it up, and I haven't had it in a while, so decided it would be something good to sort of like maybe relive some nostalgic memories or something. I don't know. But with that pour, it does get a good 3 fingers of really sudsy, soapy looking head. Very thick meringue-like head. The color is just a pale gold straw kind of lager color. A good bit of bubbles kind of streaming up from the bottom of the glass. We'll go ahead and just see if we can top it off here. And we'll get right into the aroma on this, which I do remember perhaps Pabst having a bit of a hoppier kind of profile to it than other lagers. But let's check this one out. It's been a while, and like I said, it's been quite a while since I've just had a typical kind of adjunct macro lager. I've been on either a lot of different craft beers, like dark beers, especially with like Guinness, Yingling, which is a traditional style lager, so it's got a bit more of a maltier kind of profile with it, and then like just different IPAs, craft beers, pale ales, all that kind of stuff. So it's been a while since I've kind of gotten this. Just straightforward, corn forward, sort of soapy, sudsy, kind of bar soap kind of aroma to it, hoppy, bright sort of aroma that is from a macro lager. And that head is sticking around. It's got good head retention. That's one thing I'll say in this class at least. So that's really helping with the aroma here. Yeah, just a sugary kind of bit of a hoppy, just straightforward beer smell. Let's go ahead and get right into the flavor on this one. The flavor carries straight through from the aroma. Corn adjunct, I mean, like kind of like a corn extract kind of flavor that I'm getting with it. Not necessarily like fresh corn kernels or husks or anything. Bit of a crisp lemongrass sort of note I'm getting in there as well. Nice, refreshing, crisp lemongrass kind of note. A little bit of a mustiness. I'm assuming that's probably from the hops, and not much of a lingering finish or anything with it. Good bit of like a spring water kind of flavor on the back end of it. But yeah, really straightforward. I do remember like one of the reasons I liked Pabst PBR so much was because of the more pronounced hoppiness to it, as opposed to like Budweiser, which is I think like one of the rice beers. Coors, which has more of a sweeter sort of flavor to it. I remember like Coors Banquet at least, and then the Coors Light was really, I mean, about as close to water as you can get with a bit of a fruity sort of flavor to it. And then I remember I have not seen it in a long time. One of the other older uh, beer brands that was also I believe also a Milwaukee or at least a Wisconsin beer, I think, Schlitz, which to me had a bit of a better flavor than Pabst. I've not been able to find Schlitz in quite a while, but it had a more pronounced, one of the hoppiest mass-produced adjunct lagers that I've had yet. I have not been able to find it though in a long time. As far as everyday beers go, PBR is definitely one to pick up and try. If you have not, though, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have at this point. Like I said, was saying earlier, it has had a resurgence in the last 10 years or so, especially with my generation. Like I said, the kind of hipster movement really picked up. You go to any sort of like rock show or at a local bar or something like that, they're bound to have like $2 cans of Pabst, and everyone's going to be drinking it. So it's really sort of found a niche again with particular age groups. I was trying to check out their commercial site to look at the history and everything like that on PBR. They seem to have completely really ditched that and gone straight for this sort of artsy kind of beer, showing like beer cocktails on their website. No real history about the beer at all. Just kind of having images of young 20-somethings, at dance clubs and everything with, drinking Pabst. So they also have a Pabst Extra now, which I've noticed that is a 6.5% full-bodied lager, they call it. I think that's kind of more getting towards a malt liquor at that point, but they just call it a full-bodied lager. And they also have some non-beer, in addition to also their low-calorie version and a non-alcoholic version. They now also have a hard seltzer and a hard coffee, canned coffee. So some other ones to look at on their lineup as they sort of try to continue to revamp their brand and their image. But definitely pick up some PBR if you have not yet tried it. It is one to check out. It is a fairly enjoyable macro lager, still one of my favorites. And until next time, guys, thank you for watching.